Good morning.
Good morning. Is it morning still?
Yeah, we met at 11:30.
Hey!
We nailed it. Sister Squared coming at you with week
18.
18. And I'm Kristen.
I'm Grace.
This week's topic is about taking on things that don't maybe belong to you, or over helping in ways that maybe affect your body. Grace is gonna take over because she would like to share first.
Yeah, this just felt really relevant to me because I'm going through some healing right now of my own. And, I know a lot of people with the holiday season, as they're heading back to work, noticing that they're not 100%, they have their own stuff to take care of in terms of colds or, whatever that is. And I had my own stuff come up, and it's funny, the belief on my
Funny,
part,
but
and
not so funny.
Funny as
Not
in
funny,
it's funny, but it's not fun. So Chris and I, believe that physical, mental, and emotional things manifest into a physical illness or ailment. And so I've got something going on right now, and it took me a while to trace it back. And again, it is different, I think, when you're so close to it that sometimes you don't notice, and also that sometimes it's very subtle. So what had come up for me, and I didn't really think about this, although I can see it in other people so clearly, is that, we just came off of the holidays, right? And how, many of us were around people that maybe we're not always around, or eating foods that we're maybe not used to eating, being in places that we're not used to being in, and not really protecting our energy and our physical body from those connections. So what came up for me was, as a mom, and I'm probably speaking for many moms, is that we try to create these wonderful holidays and not really realizing that the holidays sort of just create themselves, and it's just really about the people and not the things. And yes, that is true. And many of you know, my love language is food, and I love to feed my people good food. So I really worked hard at trying to create that over the holidays, and just being around a lot of people that I'm not used to. We had a gathering, and I was around some people that I wasn't used to. And I think we actually did mention this maybe last week, how we both had a very physical reaction to the energy that someone else was feeling, to the point of feeling, sick. So I was able to sort of see that what my thing was that I needed to sort of acknowledge and release was that control. And I was in my tub this morning, and this is a slow, like, oh, the aha, and I'm in the tub, and I can hear the song by the Doors, keep your eyes on the road and your hands upon the wheel, or a hand upon the wheel. And what the words actually came through for me was, keep your eyes on the road and your hands off the wheel.
Look, Mom, no hands.
So it's so funny because, I do that. I get my hands all in there because I want to create, my intentions are good, but in the actuality of it, it's probably not good for my physical body. And along with the holidays, I had been doing a special project for my old place of business. And I noticed that I was really, probably, as Chris just mentioned before we got on the video here, over helping. And I really, it probably wasn't necessary.
Blurry.
It is so blurry because I know that I'm so capable and I'm so efficient, and like that's where I shine. But maybe, and actually what kind of goes along with this, and we're talking about, this in our own practices, daily life, personal, professional, is, not helping people to the point of their own detriment. So, natural consequences are a really wonderful thing, because I'm not making it happen for you. They're just happening. And you learn so much. And if I steal that from you and I take away your ability to learn that lesson, is that going to have an impact down the road, in the future? It's a good question.
Well, it might take away your ability to believe in your own self.
Right.
It takes away the opportunity for you to learn from your mistakes.
Right. Like if you would have told me this,
right,
I probably wouldn't have, but I had to have the natural consequence of this physical manifestation in order to know that I needed to make a change. Yeah.
I saw it
I'm sure.
But it's not really.
You couldn't
up
have
to
told me
us.
though.
It's not really up to us. And I've been very careful. My kids have both been home for the last week, and they, the oldest left last night around 9. I did wake up at 4 something this morning to call and, help him through the last little bit of his journey home. I'm guessing that's why I woke up. And I knew that he wouldn't be home yet. He still had a couple hours ahead of him when he and I spoke last, but he had just stopped at a gas station. But I just called to check in. The other one leaves tomorrow, bright and squirrely in the morning. So I'll be back to an empty house. But in the time that they were visiting, I tried really hard to leave them to their own devices, not to control anything. I like to call it super mothering. I do not call it smothering. I just call it super mothering, which we all like to do because this is the first time I've seen my kids together in over 2 years. So that tendency to super mother, it was there, and I saw it, and I said hello to it, and I definitely did not try to control anything. It was more or less asking the questions that would allow me to know whether I was making dinner for 4 that day or if I was making dinner for 2. And I know that they have friends here, so I'm not going to be the only one that they make plans with. And I had to be okay with that. I've shared them for years, with family or friends or them just playing amongst themselves. They are best friends. They are best friends. And, I took a client yesterday knowing that they needed that time to connect with just the 2 of them. And me being there and them feeling guilty for needing to entertain me or make sure that they were around for me, that was not part of the equation, and it took the guilt away. So I felt good about that. My client said, gee, I really appreciate you giving me this time knowing that your kids are home. And it dawned on me then that I knew it had to be that way. I didn't fight it. I knew that her time was limited before she went back to school. And I knew that their time was limited before they left each other and me. But there's nothing that makes me happier than to see my kids thrive where they are, but also love each other so much that the hardest part for both of them was leaving each other, not me. That was the hardest part. And when I did talk to my oldest son this morning, I said, I love that you 2 love each other so much. Like that made me so happy. They're 2 years apart. Not quite to the day like your 2.
No.
They're best friends. As kids, they were best friends and worst enemies all rolled into one. Right. But they love each other so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they will probably both go through an emotional detox, having to leave each other.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be there for that.
Mm-hmm.
They may not need me. They may not have needed me yesterday. They needed each other. But I'll be able to help them out with the symptoms that they may experience next week.
Yeah.
But or later this week. But yeah, that physical manifestation of our emotions and our mental things that we're working through, that is legit. It's for real. So
Well, and it dawned on me even over the holidays that I had some stuff to unravel about the holidays, really going back to our childhood. That's what really, I think that's what my motivating, factor is in all of that. The drive to make it so great, because ours weren't. I mean, they were, at my grandmother's house, but
the thing is, I mean, there's an expectation around the holidays, especially in our family. As kids, the pressure was on to make it so perfect. And when that fell apart...
Well, not everywhere.
Well, Kathy...
That's what I mean. Yeah, okay. Because it wasn't like that at Grams. Yeah.
Our stepmother wanted that holiday to be so perfect.
Yeah.
And the littlest thing that went wrong just exploded into this avalanche that took everything out.
Yeah.
And the meltdown that would follow when it wasn't perfect was really the thing that tipped it for us as kids.
Yeah.
So that perfection, that need to make everything so perfect.
Yeah.
And instead of laughing at those stupid little things that go wrong, that it just takes us out.
Yeah,
it takes us out. And other people, that's what people notice.
And it is. I mean,
it's the tailspin.
Right. And I noticed that in my own life, these last two big ones with Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thanksgiving, my turkey was much, much, much underdone when I thought it would be done. And it was totally a mistake on my part. I whatever. And I felt that coming up in me, that I was so upset. And the kids were all trying so hard, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my childhood all over again, trying to make my stepmother feel better about what was going on. And I was like, now I can see it in my own family, like, and it's almost like that's the manifestation. The turkey was underdone, and so they're all trying to make it better. And then Christmas this year, I was so focused on making my first sourdough bread that and then I dumped the big spaghetti part of it in the oven. So that was Christmas Eve dinner, and it brought up some childhood stuff for me, and I had to take a look at that. So I don't know if anybody can relate to that. The expectations that we put on the holidays and occasions and, well, everything really, everyday life, for me, where I am birth order wise, I'm the oldest, and, I felt like I had everything fell on my shoulders, and, and so I got to break through that stuff, though. That's not real. That's me putting that on myself, and it's not real or necessary.
I think we come up with this. The thing is, this is partially a repeat topic, like in some manner, because it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Our whole life is based on cycles. If you look at it, you can see how the holidays do bring this up.
Yeah.
And, expectation comes up in a multitude of ways. This time it was the holidays, but other times it's, needing to protect the kids, or feeling like we need to protect the kids, or, when Megan got her job at this school and you were so present. But at that time, things were different because they weren't at your house for very long before you you were able to separate quicker. I think there was you had more time. They weren't spending as much time.
I'm trying
like coming up summer wise.
Oh.
They were gone a lot more road trips and things like that.
Yeah.
And for the holidays they'd been in the space
Yeah, that's
more
true. Well, and the thing is,
more consistently.
yeah. And when I was helping Megan, I mean, she led that charge. Yeah, I mean, she totally led that. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly true. They'd only come home in May to come back to live. So, yeah, it's very different.
It is
having adults in the home.
It is. I enjoyed having my kids home. But I know that they're going to their own lives where they're thriving, and I couldn't be happier for them. Yeah. They're both in wonderful relationships. I'm very grateful for the time that I had with them, though.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what keeps me good. I know my dog will probably go through an emotional detox.
Oh, I'm sure.
He loves them.
Yeah.
Oh, he loves them so much.
Yeah.
And he was already sad when John left.
I'm sure.
Last night.
Oh.
But Andy switched rooms, and so JJ got to spend the night with Andy again.
Oh, boy.
And, but he'll probably sleep for 3 weeks after this, after they're gone.
Yeah.
So I'll have to hopefully not super mother the dog.
Is
there a thing?
I'm sure there is.
So.
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll smudge him though.
That's right.
I'll give him a good
I know.
smudging.
I smudged the cat too. He's been needy with all those people around over the holidays. And me being gone, he was needy.
Yeah.
The animals feel it.
They do. They pick up all our stuff. Which is also why we need to find somebody that makes pet and people crystal wraps that match. Because they pick up on all of our stuff. And if we're grounded, they're grounded, hopefully. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great topic.
Yeah, very relevant and timely again. And like you said, everything's kind of connected, and we keep bringing things up again and again. But I feel like it's being shown to us.
For sure.
Too. Just over and over again. I like to learn the lessons more than one time, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, really what it is, I was just going to say, when a layer comes off and it shows you another part or another piece of it, and you're like, oh, I hadn't thought of that part for a while, and I need to take a look at that. And, because I had not put together the holidays of my stepmother, the holidays in my own home, and how things went in our childhood home. I had not put that together. It's like, ooh, that landed.
Yeah.
But I can remember being like that as a young mother as well. I just thought I outgrew that. Because I have to say, like, we had an absolutely wonderful, wonderful Christmas morning with all of these adult kids in my house and their significant others, and all. It was like, it was so fun. Like the Christmas stockings and just having a nice breakfast, and we just enjoyed each other's company. And I had such a great time, like getting gifts and stocking stuffers, and I just had such a good time. And I like seeing them enjoy that. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. We didn't really have anybody over for Christmas or anything, and the kids weren't home yet. New Year's, I picked Andy up on the 31st.
Was it New Year's or night before New Year's? The 30th?
Well, I picked him up on the 31st, just at midnight on the 30th. So we were just rolling into New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
But he didn't have plans with us. He had plans with his friend. And so my husband and I, we were already in bed when the clock struck midnight. I didn't have any expectations for any of that. And that's kind of, so where you go the one way with the expectation, I go the other way, and I really don't even celebrate anything. Like, I don't have a Christmas tree up. I don't have any decorations up.
Yeah.
I
don't think I would get away with that.
I don't really celebrate the holidays, and I don't really care.
Yeah.
I celebrate the fact that people are visiting. I celebrate seeing people and being happy in their presence, but I don't have the connection to the holidays, and that may be also a trauma response, you know, like just to the
other
opposite
extreme,
end.
yeah.
But I don't know. I'll have to take a look at that just to see if there's something there.
Yeah.
But I really don't.
I
Nobody's
always-
really in my
Yeah.
trajectory, really.
Yeah. I mean, I always liked decorating, even when I was a kid. And I noticed that Megan, my daughter, she loves to
It's a
decorate.
teacher thing, maybe.
It might be a teacher thing. But even as a kid, I wasn't even a teacher, and I loved decorating our room.
But you planned on being one.
And I did, but I love decorating, and even all my Christmas stuff is down now. And I did love the tree. First thing I did in the morning was turn the tree on. I loved sitting there in the dark and seeing the lights. But now everything's down, and I have like things up for winter and like snowmen and Valentine's Day stuff, and it just makes me happy to see those little things. And I know, like, I think my kids enjoy it, not that they all say anything, but I think they like it, especially my teacher daughter. So, I don't know. Yeah, I do things like that's for me, I think.
Yeah.
I do that for me. I enjoy that.
When my kids took an interest in doing the tree, I liked it enough.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed watching them and helping them to get into the Christmas spirit. But even when I didn't have a tree, I did like the lighted garland over my window because I do like lights.
Yeah.
And
they're just pretty.
They are pretty. But all my rooms now have a vibe to them. I have salt lamps in the 2 rooms where the kids slept. And there's crystals out in both rooms. They're decorated just in a vibe that is calming and soothing, to where they can come home and just be. It's not so much about a holiday. It's more about the letdown for them. Like,
they can relax.
They can discard the lives that they live elsewhere. And for you create that right in the living room. So I think there's similarity to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, you create a family vibe.
Yeah.
Where I create a family vibe differently.
Yeah.
But in their, the rooms that they're staying in.
And I think
it has a nice relaxing feel to it. Like, this is what Mom's house feels like now.
Well,
where yours is like, this is what Mom's house feels like.
Well, and I've had people come into my house and say, oh my gosh, it's so peaceful in your house. And I know that's true.
Same with mine.
Yeah.
It's peaceful at my house, too.
It is. It's going to be a lot more peaceful when people move out, but that's coming. That'll probably be another topic.
Sooner than you realize. It happens fast.
Well, I think we're looking at mid-February for one.
Wow.
And then...
Okay, so faster than I realized, too.
Yeah, and then probably like September for another one.
Yeah.
So...
I think we...
Be back to being an empty nester.
Yeah, that was a tough one for me. That was when my drinking really took off. Is when they left for the first time. They left within 6 months of each other for boot camp.
Free as a bird.
Yeah, one left in December of 13, and the other one left in June of 14. And I didn't know what to do with myself. So I didn't go home much. My husband worked afternoons, so I spent a lot of time outside of the house. And because I was lonely. And, that was a topic yesterday with a client, and that feeling of loneliness and where it takes us and what we do with it and how we choose to handle it. So I think that has to do with the vibe we create too. I transformed that loneliness into a place of self-containment and that going to my space is therapeutic for me. You know, I created an office that I love being in. And when I bring people over to visit, that's kind of where we sit. I enjoy it so much that, so I'm not lonely. I think I'm more in a place of enjoying my time, and I think that's something that we can be mindful when we create.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now that our houses are emptying out a little bit, and
Yeah.
you know, things transition. You know, our lives, we're in constant transition.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's something that takes a little bit of getting used to. You know, I used to go through a depression when my kids would leave, and I was not a depressed person in my life mostly. So that one was hard to pinpoint. I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
But it took me a couple months that first time. I was like, when they left for after Christmas, I didn't have them home right away for a few years, not together. And when I did, it was so unusual. I was like, gosh, I just feel sad all the time. Wonder what that is. And then it dawned on me, and I was like, oh my God, my kids left, and I'm depressed.
No.
It was so bizarre.
I'm sure that'll happen for me. I'll have to
so
watch
bizarre.
for it. Yeah. It is funny how you can't always spot it in yourself, but it's so
That was
easy to
years
see it
ago,
in other
though.
people. Yeah.
And now it's
Yeah.
such a fluid motion. Now I can see it coming, or where it could possibly be.
Mm.
That, you know, I'm on the ball now. I was never on the ball before.
Yeah.
I only seemed put together.
I'm more on the ball, and I definitely seemed put together.
Yeah.
I was a functioning whatever.
We'll just call it, we were functional.
Functional. Yeah.
Functionally adulting.
Yes.
Sufficiently adulting.
Sufficiently. Yeah,
we were
definitely.
getting away with them
Yeah, right.
until we weren't.
Right.
Then it became clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely a topic for a lot of people to maybe take a look at.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of people coming and looking for help putting out a fire.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you have to look in for this one. You got to look within for that one. Because it's not something that somebody else can put their finger on for you.
Right.
So I think it's a little sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in the way that I couldn't tell her, she wouldn't be able to tell me.
Right.
And we won't be able to tell you.
But don't underestimate your own power.
That's exactly where I was going. Is, you know, maybe spend some time with yourself and get quiet and look inside and see what's sitting there. If you're feeling some sort of way, or if you feel like something's creeping in where you're feeling not yourself, or you're feeling a little foggy in the head, or you know, maybe
Just
your
icky.
body is going through a purge.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got some poops coming. You know, see what it is.
Yeah.
See what it is, because smudging doesn't hurt either.
Yeah.
Smudge your space, smudge your house, smudge yourself. You know, we can't always help people when they're going through stuff. I mean, I could tell you, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna resonate for you.
Right.
Not until you find it for real. I mean, I can give you a hint. She can give you a hint.
Yeah.
But
Well, and acknowledging it to me is such a key piece.
that's
Like
when it
just
usually,
acknowledging, and that just starts. It's it's going away. As soon as I acknowledge it, it's on its way out. You
That's
know,
when
this,
your body decides
this
to let
little
it go.
healing crisis that's going on, this healing, it started as soon as I acknowledged what was going on. I acknowledged it. I out loud, I spoke it, and I said, okay, well, this can go away now. You know, I learned the lesson. Thank you. But I don't need this anymore. It doesn't serve me.
So yeah, as soon as you acknowledge what's going on, your body does start to let it go. It's almost like acceptance of your part in the control. And then you can move past it. And get around that corner.
And again, don't underestimate your healing abilities, because they're huge.
Well, your innate body knows what it needs, so it will give you clues. You just have to be mindful enough to look at your part in things and where you maybe had expectations or feelings that you maybe need to take the wheel. But as Grace said, that while the doors may not have quite said that, but Grace said, take your hands off the wheel. Keep your eyes on the road, but take your hands off the wheel.
Take your hands off the wheel. All of them.
Jesus, take the wheel. Please?
It's funny that I heard that, and for some reason, I don't know why, I thought George Thorogood sang that song, but it's the Doors.
It's the Doors.
Yeah.
But with that, we hope that you stay shiny side up. Have a fabulous Tuesday.
Yeah.
I guess we're supposed to be getting some weather, so be safe out there. Hold on to your panties. It's about to get windy. But much love and many blessings to you. Bye-bye.